All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Tanvi Taneja. The headlines. Campaigning intensifies in poll-bound Rajasthan and Telangana. In Jammu and Kashmir, polling for the fifth phase of Panchayat elections begins. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to arrive at Argentinian capital Buenos Aires today to take part in the 13th G20 summit. Indian Space Research Organization to launch Earth observation satellite HySIS from Sriharikota this morning. And in Men's Hockey World Cup, Argentina to face Spain and New Zealand to meet France at Bhubaneswar today. Campaigning intensifies in poll-bound Rajasthan and Telangana. In Rajasthan, electioneering is gaining momentum as senior leaders of different parties, including the BJP and the Congress, are doing their utmost to maximize support for their candidates. Polling will be held on the 7th of December. Our correspondent reports that more than 4,76 lakh voters are eligible to exercise their franchise. 51,965 polling stations are to be set up for polling in the state.
BJP President Amit Shah will address the rallies at Karoli, Todabhim, Kotputli and Bassi. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad is to address media at Bikaner and Kota. Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje is to address 5 election rallies. From Congress side, former Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot is to attend 4 public rallies, and PCC Chief Sachin Pilot is also going to attend series of public meetings today. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Telangana, political parties are leaving no stone unturned in their bid to seek support for their candidates. Polling will be held on December the 7th. Senior leader and Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh will address rallies at Nagar Kurnool and few other places today. More from our correspondent.
BJP President Amit Shah held a roadshow in Mushirabad and Ambarpet constituencies in Hyderabad, from where BJP State President Dr. Lakshman and former President Kishan Reddy seeking re-election. Congress President Rahul Gandhi also held a roadshow along with the leaders of Praja Kutumi Alliance leaders at Sanatnagar, where people from Seemandhra reside in more numbers. TDP President Chandrababu Naidu will be touring today. TRS Chief K. Chandrasekhar Rao will be taking up hectic campaigning today at about half a dozen places. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
Around 75% voter turnout was recorded for Madhya Pradesh Assembly elections, for which polling was held yesterday. Polling was held for 230 seats. In the previous Assembly elections, the total polling percentage was 72.13%. Briefing media in New Delhi last evening, Deputy Election Commissioner Sudeep Jain said the polling was peaceful. In Mizoram, Chief Electoral Officer Ashish Kundra said over 80% voter turnout has been recorded. He said about 56% Bru voters coming from Tripura relief camps cast their votes in 15 special polling stations. Polling was held for 40 seats. Maximum turnout of 84% has been recorded in Serchhip district and the lowest 65% in Aizawl district. In the 2013 Assembly election, 83.41% polling was recorded. In Jammu and Kashmir, polling for the fifth phase of Panchayat elections began at 8 this morning. It will conclude at 2 p.m. Over 4,763 candidates are in the fray for 309 Sarpanch and 1,534 Panch seats. 118 Sarpanch and 1,046 Panch have been elected unopposed in this phase. 2,512 polling stations have been set up across the state, including 1,743 in the Jammu division and 769 in the Kashmir Valley. Our correspondent has more.
In the fifth phase, an electorate of 4,04,283 will be voting for Sarpanch constituencies, while it is 2,70,295 for Panch constituencies. A total of 848 polling stations have been categorized as hypersensitive, of which 755 are in Kashmir division and 93 in Jammu division. Basic minimum facilities have been ensured in all the polling stations for facilitating the voters. R.K. Rana for AIR News from Jammu.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will present the interim budget for 2019-20 fiscal on 1st of February next year. The ministry said the work for preparation of interim budget has already commenced and is now gaining momentum. Last month, the ministry began the budgetary exercise, and during the process, meetings were held with the ministries of Steel, Power and Housing and Urban Development, among others, to finalize revised expenditure for the current fiscal and projections for the next financial year. The government has extended the date for filing summary GST sales returns for October for taxpayers affected by cyclones in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. A Finance Ministry statement said in New Delhi yesterday that for taxpayers whose principal place of business is in the district of Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh, the due date for filing GST R3B for the months of September and October has been extended till November 30th, 2018. Similarly, those taxpayers whose principal place of business is in the 11 specified districts of Tamil Nadu, the GST R3B for the month of October has to be filed by December the 20th. Nearly 2.75 lakh beneficiaries have availed a subsidy scheme under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, with Gujarat topping the chart. Union Housing and Urban Affairs Secretary Durga Shankar Mishra said in New Delhi yesterday that Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh have the most number of beneficiaries under the Credit-Linked Subsidy Scheme CLSS after Gujarat. Under the CLSS, the Union Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry provides a subsidy of up to 2.67 lakh rupees to the beneficiaries. The PMAYU, launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in June 2015, aims to ensure housing for all by 2022 by providing financial assistance to beneficiaries. In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 unidentified terrorists were killed in a brief encounter with security forces in South Kashmir's Pampore area of Pulwama district in wee hours today. Security sources said that gunfights started between terrorists and joint team of security forces at village Shali area of Pampore in the district following the launch of specific input about the presence of terrorists in the area. They said arms and ammunition were recovered. Talking to AIR, State Director General of Police Dilbagh Singh said that it is a big success for the security forces.
पिछली रात करीब वंतीपुरा में एक खास इतला के ऊपर ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किया गया था, जिसमें 2 खूंखार आतंकी जो है वो मार कराए गए हैं। ये दोनों ही रियाज नैकू जो हिजब का कमांडर है जहां एरिया का, उसके साथी हैं और पुलिस की किलिंग में ये दोनों लोग शामिल थे और ये पुलिस और सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के लिए उस इलाके में अच्छी बड़ी कामयाबी है।
For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. You can also log on to our website newsonair.nic.in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is reaching the Argentinian capital Buenos Aires today to take part in the 13th G20 summit. The theme of the summit is Building Consensus for a Fair and Sustainable Development. Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale said the Prime Minister will make a lead intervention in the first session of the summit titled Putting People First. In a pre-departure statement, the Prime Minister said G20 seeks to promote multifaceted cooperation among the 20 largest economies of the world. The Prime Minister will hold meetings with several world leaders, including the Chinese President, German Chancellor, Spanish Prime Minister, and the UN Secretary General on the sidelines of the summit. The White House said US President Donald Trump will hold a trilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi, Japanese Premier Shinzo Abe on the sidelines of the summit. India and China have signed a protocol on hygiene and inspection requirements for exports. The Commerce Ministry said in a statement that the protocol was signed in New Delhi yesterday during the visit of Chinese Vice Minister, General Administration of Customs of China, Hu Wei, who is leading a 6-member delegation to India. The move would enable India to commence export of fish meal and fish oil to China. The Chinese minister met Commerce Secretary Anup Vadhavan and discussed various issues of market access for different milk products, agricultural goods like soy meal, fruits and vegetables, tobacco and pharmaceuticals. The Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO is all set to launch the Earth Observation Satellite HySIS this morning. The rocket PSLV C-43 will carry it into space along with 30 other micro and nano satellites from 8 different nations. It will lift off at 9:58 a.m. this morning from the Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota. As the total weight of all the satellites is below 642 kgs, the launch vehicle will travel in its simplest form called core-alone configuration without strap-on boosters. However, this will be one of the longest flight missions for the ISRO, as the total flight duration will be nearly 2 hours. The HySIS has a mission life of over 5 years. More from our correspondent covering the launch.
The satellite, once put in orbit, will encircle the Earth in polar sun-synchronous path. It can provide valuable data on agriculture, forestry, geological environments, coastal zones and inland waters. One of the specialties in today's mission is that the launch vehicle will put the satellites in 2 different orbits. The HySIS will be injected in a higher altitude first, and afterwards the 30 other customer payloads will be inserted in a lower orbit. It will testify to the prowess of the ISRO in the complex mission. Jay Singh, AR News, Sriharikota.
Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu has urged the textiles industry to prepare a roadmap to boost export. He was addressing a global conclave of Confederation of Indian Textile Industry in New Delhi yesterday. He said the government is willing to extend all possible support to the textiles industry. In Men's Hockey World Cup, 2 matches are scheduled for today. In Pool A encounter, Argentina will face Spain at 5 p.m, while New Zealand will meet France at 7 p.m. at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. India started their campaign with a dominating 5-0 win against South Africa at the Kalinga Stadium yesterday. India will next face Belgium on the 2nd of December. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated the Indian team for an impressive win against South Africa in their opening match at the Hockey World Cup in Odisha. And now for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Sarabjit Kaur.
Thank you, Tanvi. The foundation stone laying ceremony for the Pakistani section of the historic Kartarpur corridor dominates front page newspaper headlines this morning. Imran takes corridor to peace, headlines the Mail today. Photographing the event, the Tribune quotes Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan as saying, "Army with me on India ties. If France and Germany can come close, why not us?" The Asian Age highlights India firm, no talks, no SARC. Pakistan must stop sponsoring terror first, says Sushma. The killing of Lashkar-e-Taiba commander Naveed Jat near Srinagar, who was a prime suspect in the murder of journalist Shujat Bukhari, also gets widely covered. The Indian Express calls Jat's killing as a big blow to Valley's Lashkar leadership. As voters in Madhya Pradesh and Mizoram exercise their mandate on Wednesday, several papers have highlighted the high voting percentage in both the states. 3% EVM glitches amid record 75% MP turnout, headlines the Times of India. The Delhi High Court upholding the conviction of 70 people in the 1984 anti-Sikh riots case also gets front page coverage across dailies. They rioted, burnt houses and violated curfew in Trilokpuri area in Delhi. Case dragged on for 22 years, writes The Hindu. And finally, according to the Lancet Countdown report on health and climate change released yesterday, India among countries worst hit by climate change, observes the Hindustan Times. The Times of India, quoting the same report, writes, heat waves hit 40 million more Indians in 5 years from 2012 to 2016. The report says what India needs is urgent national and regional adaptation plans. And with that, it's back to you, Tanvi.
Thank you, Sarabjit, for an overview of today's newspapers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Campaigning intensifies in poll-bound Rajasthan and Telangana. In Jammu and Kashmir, polling for the 5th phase of Panchayat elections begins. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to arrive at Argentinian capital Buenos Aires today to take part in the 13th G20 summit. Indian Space Research Organization to launch Earth observation satellite HySIS from Sriharikota this morning. And in Men's Hockey World Cup, Argentina to face Spain and New Zealand to meet France at Bhubaneswar today. For details of these stories and more, you can log on to our website www.newsonair.nic.in. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.